Mastering social media can sometimes be one of the most dynamic, most complex, and downright frustrating things out there. Well, in today's topic, we're going to be talking about how you can develop strategy that will protect you from all three of those three things I just said. In today's topic, we're going to be looking at these key components of developing strategy that will help you as a content creator and as a thought leader begin to excel and really begin to make an impact on the digital landscape. Let's go. Hey everyone, welcome to Reveal Media Podcast. My name is Ryan Adams. I'm the CEO of Reveal Media. As always, it's a pleasure to receive you here in today's podcast. If it's the first time that you have ever watched one of our podcasts, we would love for you to check out our other episodes. We have incredible content that will help you excel in everything that you have been called to do as a thought leader, as a content creator. Here at Reveal Media, our desire is to help you grow, excel, and expand into new territories. If you ever need help along the way, please reach out to us. Here at Reveal Media, we have incredible products, incredible services that are geared to help people just like you. We have an incredible vision of revealing the glory of God on every glowing screen, and we want to partner with you to do just that. Everyone has been given an incredible message, and we want to help shape, mold, and help project that onto every screen that God has called you to impact. So today we're going to be talking about strategy. Strategy is a very important topic that we have to discuss. Without strategy, the people perish. Without the vision, without the north, the people perish. So today we're going to be talking about how you can master social media, specifically in developing key strategies for your thought leadership. For maybe it's a webinar, it's a podcast, maybe it's a course that you have. Every single thing that I'm going to talk about today really hovers, it follows this inside of this, I would say this atmosphere or in this, this realm of these different things I'm about to tell you. And so I'm going to give you 10 things that you have to focus on when you are thinking about developing strategy that will work. Strategy that will help you excel in all that you've been called to excel in and really begin to help you connect with people on a new level. So let's get into this today. We're going to be looking at the very first principle that I want to give you, and it's very simple, but it is so important. You have to have very clear objectives. You have to define your objectives. This is something that we've seen in so many different levels. I'm talking about from leadership, from production, post-production, whatever it may be. We have to have clear objectives. In leadership in general, if you don't have a north, if you don't have objectives, if you don't have values to those objectives, you don't know what you're doing and why you're doing it, it's very hard to get traction. It's really hard to begin to progress and see progression within the vision. So today I want to touch point on this very first principle that I think is so important. So please, write it down, take notes, type it on the line. You have to define clear objectives. Come on, someone. You hear me. You feeling me today? We have to establish what we as content creators aim to achieve with our social media efforts, with everything that we have been called to do, whether it be on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it may be. You have to know what it is that you want to achieve. Why? And when do you want to achieve these goals? Goals are so essential. So setting these clear goals will help you direct all of your content creation efforts and measures on these things. You're going to have so much focus that you'll know, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do and this is how I'm supposed to create it because my focus is this. I'm going to measure everything from these objectives. Developing KPIs, which are key performance indicators, will really begin to help you understand, okay, I've accomplished this on this day. It's with this, this thing that I was trying to focus on with these types of people. Okay, I was able to accomplish it. This is when I was able to accomplish it. This is how I was able to accomplish it. Establishing these clear objectives is going to help you do these things. So I'm going to give you some examples of objectives, and then you can develop these yourselves. But as always, guys, we're here to educate. We're here to help you grow in your incredible journey and this incredible tool that you've been given as a content creator, as a thought leader. We're here to help mold, shape, and crystallize this gift that you have. So I'm going to give you some example objectives. Again, you can apply these today in your own life, or you can develop other ones as I share these things. There might be other new things that kind of spawn from this or kind of a bird from these example objectives. So the first one is you have to think about increasing your brand awareness. Increasing brand awareness is something very important, because when you make more people aware of what you're doing, what your brand is, your mission really will be better understood. So increasing brand awareness should be one of your objectives. You should be focusing, okay, how can I help people understand what my brand is all about? How can I help people understand what the vision, what the mission is all about? So increasing brand awareness should be on your radar. It should be one of your objectives. If it's not, it's okay. But I would, from the experience of what we've done, people that don't have this objective of increasing brand awareness sometimes don't really know what they're trying to reach. Again, brand awareness will develop, generate either sales, the reach of souls, more leads, might be a lead generator. These types of things will help you better understand, okay, this is what I have been called to do, and I'm wanting to increase my brand awareness for this reason. So always have purpose behind it. Another example objective that you can establish is enhancing community engagement, because at the end of the day, guys, we want to encourage our followers to interact with us and to interact with other followers. That is something that's really important, of creating this objective, say, okay, how can I enhance community engagement, which is ultimately going to help the algorithm with the different social platforms that you're using. The more that people engage with your content, the more it's going to get in front of the right people. It tells the algorithm, it tells Facebook, it tells Meta, tells all these different social platforms, hey, this is content that people are engaging with. So I believe that this is a really important objective that you have to establish within your journey of creating these different strategies. How can I enhance the experience with the community of people that are following me? How can I help them engage with other people? How can I stimulate, provoke conversation within our community? How can I develop and really provoke that engagement? The next one is driving traffic. Depends on exactly what you're called to do. And some people, again, are called to create content to drive sales, to drive leads, to drive more, discipleship or coaching or mentoring, whatever it may be. But understanding that an objective of driving traffic is very essential. Directing followers to maybe your website, maybe it's a landing page, maybe it's somewhere else, maybe it's a blog. This is going to increase views, which will ultimately, if you have the proper tools in play, and we'll talk about this maybe in a different episode, but having these tools properly created, established, and moving in an automated way is going to help you really begin to drive traffic and potentially drive sales or drive more reach with what you're called to do in your vision. So this is really important of, okay, this is my objective. I'm called to drive traffic. This is going to help me. The next one is educating the audience. This is really important that we're always looking towards how we can educate. We'll kind of go into this a little bit deeper throughout this episode of like how we educate the audience. But one thing that we have seen here at Reveal Media is education is always going to be something that people want. People want to learn. People love digesting funny material, which I believe it can also be totally educational, but looking for funny stuff or emotional things or inspirational things. But this is something we also have to understand, that education is also something super, super powerful, because when you provide valuable information on the topics maybe that you are very, aware of, that you're educated in, or that it's part of your mission, a part of your vision, you're going to see that this will be a very important objective that will determine the success of your reach. And so understanding that educating an audience or inspiring the audience, whatever it may be, is something very important. It's a very grounded objective that we have to develop. Okay. The second thing that I want to give you, so the first one was defining a clear objective or objectives. You can be 1 or it can be 5. I wouldn't overcomplicate how many objectives you have because, we want to try to keep it simple. The second thing that I want to give you is you have to understand your audience. I don't know how many times we here at Reveal Media, we have seen people, they start out well and they have like this very broad vision and, they have so many incredible ideas, but they really just don't understand their audience. Knowing your audience is crucial. Knowing their preferences, their needs. It's crucial because it's going to allow you to tailor your content appropriately and specifically to those that are feeding on that content. And what this will ultimately do, it's going to enhance the relevance. It's going to enhance the engagement. So knowing your audience, knowing what they need, knowing the pain points, knowing what they're going through. And you're like, well, Ryan, how do I know this? We're going to talk a little bit about this. We're going to talk about how you can better understand this. So one of the things you can better do is you can use demographics data. So within Facebook, within YouTube, you can actually see, is it male or female? You can see the ages. You can see where they're from. You can begin to see demographics. Can you see all of the data? No, because it doesn't provide very granular type of data, but it can give you some type of understanding. Okay, I have this percentage of age people, of an age group of people that are watching this. So it serves that this data can be used. So again, you understanding the demographic data and understanding the interests, understanding it from feedback that you're getting, maybe on comments, it can really help you understand your audience better. And with this, it will help you develop a persona. You'll be able to understand, okay, in detail, the different personas, the different profiles of the people that are feeding on your audience. And at the end of the day, your audience is the most important focus that you should have. Now, there's people that are not in the same audience or same age, and not saying that they're not important, but again, the people that you should be focusing on is your audience. Understand who's wanting to walk with you. Understand who's wanting to feed on your content. And so this is really, really important as we take these steps of really growing in our strategy as content creators. And so making these types of content that resonate, that speaks to them, that meets their needs, this is something that we have to focus on. Is it a lot of work? Of course it's a lot of work, but someone has to do it. And I love what our founder, Cap Chatfield, says. He always says that, your ads are going to show up on every screen. The question is whose ad is that going to be? Is it going to be yours or is it going to be somebody else? They would say it's the same thing for any content that we create. People are always getting filled with so much content. The question is what type of content are they being filled with? Is it your content or is it somebody else's content? But if you don't know your audience, then how can you really begin to develop in this strategy? The third thing that I think is so important that we have to talk about, guys, is we have to develop a content mix. I would call it a playlist. You got to know what different types of content work for what. Diverse content strategy can help cater to all different users, all different people that are following you, the different preferences, the different needs, and this is going to keep your audience engaged. If you just produce the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, I'm not saying that it won't pick up momentum. I'm not saying it's not going to be impactful. But again, you have to understand that you probably have a diverse amount of different people that are following you. Diverse ages, diverse backgrounds, diverse cultures. And so we have to make sure that we're being, let's just say, diverse or dynamic in our strategy. We have to understand that developing this content mix or content playlist is something very crucial. So I want to give you some different types of content that you can create, and write this down. I have 4 here. There's more, but I'll give you 4 that will kind of help you get jump started. The first one is educational content. So I already talked about this, of how educational content is very, very powerful. It's a very incredible tool. So using articles, infographics, webinars, providing educational, valuable information, the things that you learned, is going to be something very powerful. Now, I would really encourage you that if you're going to do something educational and you want to become an authority of this area, make sure that you're experienced. Make sure you kind of have it. You've been seasoned in the area. I've seen this as a very, I've seen this a lot lately, kind of within my sphere of people that I follow. And And sometimes I watch some of these people and they're giving this kind of educational content. I'm like, have you really lived that out? You really are authority in this subject? And not saying that people won't think you're not to have years of experience. No, but just make sure that when you're opening your mouth, when you're you're teaching somebody something, that you actually have weight behind it. You have experience behind it. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying it's going to be so much more effective, because when people feed on this information, they'll know that this comes from seasoned teachers. It's coming from people that have experience. It comes with people that have walked the walk and now they're doing the talk. The second thing within the different types of content creation is inspirational content. Inspirational content is so powerful. Maybe it's daily Bible verses, maybe it's motivational quotes, maybe it's, success stories, testimonies, whatever it may be. These are really powerful pieces of content. Inspirational content always messes with the emotions of people. And at the end of the day, we really want to mess with the mind, want to mess with the emotions, the heart, the feelings. This is what we not mess with, but you understand, we want to stimulate some kind of feeling. And so when we create inspirational content, we're really opening the door for that to happen. Will it happen every time? Maybe, maybe not. We'll find out. That's something you have to analyze. The next thing you need to look at is promotional content. Now, if you're a coach, if you're a church, if you're a business owner, it's really important that you have announcements about your services, services maybe from a church, or actual services from your company. Maybe they're different products, events, courses. It's really important that you do create pieces of content that promote what you're doing, promote what, maybe it's a nonprofit, maybe it's a company, whatever it may be, that you do create some type of content that's promoting what you do. It's very important. The fourth thing I want to give you today before we kind of close this out is you need to emphasize value. You have to emphasize the value, and you have to emphasize the impact that it's going to have, like what you're doing and how you're doing it, how this impacts and how it brings value to those that are watching it. Your content and everything that you do should reflect on your values. Without values, guys, it's really hard for people to follow your mission. And again, your values don't have to say, you don't have to only talk about a certain topic or about a certain person. It doesn't have to be, cookie cutter a certain way, but we should have values, and we should stand behind those values, and we should make clear to people what those values are. So when we're building strategy, specifically in the area of content creation, we have to emphasize our values. We have to emphasize the impact of what we've been called to do, and make that clear. Again, your content should reflect the value of your mission. Write that down and make sure that it's in a positive way, that's a positive impact of everything that you're doing, that your work has meaning. So this is so important, because this not only informs people, but it also inspires and motivates your audience to action. When you create this type of content that emphasizes your values, you're connecting with your audience on a deeper level. So how can I do this? Well, share stories. You can share testimonies, you can, create progress reports, you can, demonstrate, through these different progress reports or these different, findings, whatever it may be, analysis, or whether it be, really much, you can really find anything that is out there. It helps people connect, and bringing that together with your value, bringing it together with who you are, is going to bring more relevance to the mission. So I would always say is emphasize value, and make sure that you're also emphasizing the impact that it's having. This is so important. The last one that I want to give you before we go for today, I wanted to give you more, but because of time, I think we're just going to be able to get through 5 here. But number 5, we have to maintain a consistent brand voice. This is so important. And many times we can really err in this area, because you can get repetitive in things so much, doing things over and over again. And if you're not careful, you're not analyzing it, you can begin to really stray away from the vision. You can really stray away from the branding of the voice of what you represent. So consistency in your communication style is so important. The reason why is because it reinforces your brand identity. and this will help build trust. If there is no consistency in your communication, if there is no consistency with the brand identity, it makes it very hard for people to trust what it is that you're doing. But apart from just trust, it really affects the recognition and trust of the people that are following you. So we need to be very aware of the fact that when we are producing content and we're developing strategy, that we always remember, what is the voice of my brand? What is the brand voice? And am I being consistent in this, or am I straying away from this? So you have to identify what it is you've been called to do. So maybe it's formal, maybe it's confrontational, maybe it's conversational, maybe it's inspirational, maybe it's one of those O's. But this is going to help ensure and really help align your brand values, and it's going to help you be more consistent on all the different platforms. Because when people see you, just like I will imagine like Apple or Sony or any large tech company, you see that when they do their marketing, it's very streamlined. It speaks the same message. It flows in the same rhythm every single time, because again, there's consistency with the brand voice. And this is so important that we are developing in these areas, in these ways. And it's so important that as we move forward in our advancement of developing strategy, that we are always very aware of these key components. Now, before we go, I just want to list off, I just feel like I want to give these to you very quickly. So again, number 5, that was we had to maintain a consistent brand voice. Number 6, we have to leverage the right platforms. You got to know what platforms that you've been called to reach. Not everyone's called to be on TikTok. Not everybody's called to be on LinkedIn. Not everybody's called to be on YouTube. Now, obviously, are some large players there. But again, you need to find what works for you, and you got to leverage these platforms. You have to invest your time, your emotion, your times, you have to do this, because again, you're not just called to just throw content out there and let's just believe the best. No, be very purposeful in your production. Be purposeful in every move that you make, because time is of the essence. You've been called for such a time as this to be an influence in this area. You are an influencer. The 7th thing that I want to give you is to schedule and automate. You have to utilize these different tools. Some are paid, some are free, but scheduling and automation are crucial, because it's going to help maintain constant communication, constant flow of rhythm, and that's what the algorithm's looking for. They're looking that the audience is engaging with content on a constant basis, that it's being consistent. The more consistent you are, the more you will grow. Consistency is king. Just write that one down. Number 8, you have to engage and interact. These social platforms are social communication channels. This is a two-way communication channel. People comment, you're supposed to comment back, so it's two-way. So engaging with your audience shows that you, as an individual, value their input, that you see them, that they're watching. I mean, people love that. When you respond to messages, when you engage with people, this is going to help tremendously. Number 9, you have to measure and adapt. Got to be flexible. And it's something that we're always telling people. People, they don't realize that content creation is it's a long form strategy. Some people get it real quick, they get results real quick, others don't. But something you have to be very aware of is you got to give it time. You have to measure your metrics. You have to measure what you're doing, and don't just make a premature decision because you didn't see it work 1 month. Just continue moving forward and tweak it a little bit here and a little bit there. Yes, there's times where you got to pivot, you have to make some drastic changes, but something you got to measure and you have to adapt accordingly. Because again, many times we're being very schizophrenic in our vision, or schizophrenic in our way of doing things. And hey, I deal with this sometimes, and everyone deals with it. Creative people deal with it. But we have to just be very aware that we have to give time to measure and adapt accordingly. And we have to make sure we're very clear about it, and we're very precise about it, and we're very calculative about it, because it's going to help us in the long run. And lastly, we have to stay up to the trends that are out there. We've got to stay updated with what's going on. Now, again, you may be like, well, Ryan, I have no desire to go see what everybody else is doing. I don't care about this. I don't care about that. Okay, I get you. What you can do is you can come here to Reveal Media. We can give you some insights. Through our newsletter, we're always going to be giving like different trends, what's going on. So there you go. You get caught up on all of your need to know quick trends for the week or for the year. But it's really important that you are understanding social media and it's in its nature. It's very dynamic. It's always changing. Always changing. From different people that are their different preferences at the different platforms. Sometimes it's this, sometimes it's that. So you just have to be aware. Do you have to change every single time someone changes? No. You can stay consistent and stay with that, but just be aware of what's going on around you. I think this is what we've been called to do. If we really want to be successful in our social media strategies as thought leaders, as content creators, as companies, as ministries, we have to be strategic in our planning. We have to be genuine within our engagement. We have to be proactive in our engagement. We have to focus on daily delivering value content, things that have meaning, things that have value to it, things that people are actually wanting to hear. And with this, always maintaining consistency with the brand, main consistency in your communication, engaging with people on a daily basis. Again, this is going to help build a strong social media presence. And at the end of the day, this is going to help support your mission, and it's going to expand ultimately your influence. And again, this is crucial because these strategic approaches, they will ensure that your social media efforts and everything that you're doing and all the things that you're investing into will not be in vain, but it will be visible and it's going to be impactful. Because when these things are in alignment with your objectives, in alignment with your vision, you better believe it's going to be powerful. So guys, I pray that you learned something today in this podcast and this training. Guys, these things are crucial for your for you to excel in the area, for you to grow and to scale and to really begin to influence and transform the different areas that you have been called to transform and influence. But hey, together, we're here to walk with you. We're here to help you. And again, as always, reach out to us. If you want to know for more information, you want to get on this discovery call with us, say, hey, how can Reveal Media help me with this? Because we have skills and we have services and solutions that are geared, again, directly to you. And we want to be here to help facilitate this, to walk this out. And some of you are like, hey, take over. And we're here to walk with you and to direct and to even potentially, take over and to walk with you. Say, okay, focus on recording. We'll do the rest. Focus on ideation. We'll take care of, of the production and the output. Guys, together we can do this. So again, give us a call, reach out to us today. We're here to serve you. Until the next episode, we'll go a little bit deeper in our journey as we grow as content creators, as we grow as influencers, pioneers in the digital landscape. God bless.